So in this lecture, let's go ahead and learn how exactly can we execute this same code which we have typed in the console inside our actual app, which is nothing but the app which is my app right over here. So let's go ahead and learn how to do that. So first of all, let's exit out of this console. So in order to exit out of this console, simply type in exit, hit enter, and you will be out of the console. So now let's go ahead and go inside the actual app, and in here let's go inside the views.py, and whatever Python code which you actually want to execute in your Django app actually goes inside the views.py file. So here, in order to execute any kind of code, first of all you need to go ahead and create a view, and in this particular view you can just go ahead and write in the code which we have just written inside the shell. So even before we write some code in here, first of all we need to import the libraries, which is nothing but the beautiful soup library and the requests library. So I'll simply go ahead and type in import requests, and then I can simply type in from bs4 import, that's going to be beautiful soup. So once we have these two things imported, we can now go ahead and create a function in here which will include the actual code to scrape those links. So I'll type in def, and let's name this function as scrape, and as with every function, this is also going to accept the request. And now in here we can directly go ahead and start writing our Python code. So first of all, we actually used the request library to get a particular web page. So I'll type in requests.get and then pass in a web page in here. So I'll simply go ahead and pass in Google over here. So https://www.google.com, and also let's make sure to actually save this page into something. So I'll save this in page. And now let's go ahead and use beautiful soup so that we can pass this page. So I'll type in soup equals beautiful soup and just pass in page, and in order to actually get the text from this page, I'll type in page.text and then pass in the HTML parser in here. So I'll type in HTML.parser in here, and now once we have this specific thing, we are now actually good to go. So now the only thing which we need to do is that we need to go ahead and loop through this soup which we have and get those links. So I can say for link in soup.find_all, and let's find the links with a tag, and in here you can actually go ahead and print those links over here. But for now we don't want to print those links, but instead we actually want to display them on our web page. So in order to display them on our web page, let's actually go ahead and create a list over here and actually append those links to that particular list. So in here, let me just go ahead and create a list, and let's say the list name is let's say link address, and this list is going to be currently empty, and we are going to fill that list up over here. So now in order to append these links to this link address, you can type in link address dot append, and then simply pass in link dot get, and then get the href. So now what this will do is that it will get all the link addresses, and it will store those link addresses into this particular list which we have just created. Now once we have these items in this list, we can actually pass in this particular list to the template so that we can render that template along with the list items. So let's go ahead and do that over here. So I'll type in return render, then pass in request, and then I'll simply go ahead and create a template, and that template is going to be present in my app slash, and let's say the template name is nothing but, let's say, result.html, and then I can pass in the context as nothing but the link address which we have. So I can say link address as link address, and then we are basically good to go. So now once we have actually passed this thing in, okay, so we do have an error over here, and that error is we have used requests over here, which should actually be request, because requests is actually a library, and this request which we use here is the actual request. So make sure that you don't get confused. So once we have that, we are pretty much good. And now let's go ahead and actually create the template, which is nothing but result.html. So let's go ahead, go to my app. Let's create a directory which is called as templates. Let's create another directory in here which is called as my app, and in there let's go ahead, create a new file which is called as result.html. And now in here let's add the HTML tags, and in here I can simply go ahead and loop through the list, which is nothing but the list of link addresses. So I can say something like for link in the list, which is nothing but link address, and let's end the for over here. So I'll say end for, and in here I can just go ahead and print out the link. So I can say link over here, and let's use a break tag over here to separate out all those links. Okay, so now once we have this template, and once we have associated this template with this view, the only thing which remains is that we now actually need to go ahead and associate this view with a URL pattern. So let's go ahead and do that as well. So let's go to the my sites urls.py. Let's import the view here. So I'll say from my app import views, and once we have imported views, let's create a URL pattern for the same. So I'll say something like, let's say we want to display this on a home page, so I'll leave this thing as empty, and I'll say views dot, and the name of our view is nothing but scrape, views dot scrape. So the name of this is going to be also equal to, let's say, scrape. Simply give a comma and you are now good to go. So now let's see if we actually get those links on our home page. So I'll simply go ahead, save this code. I'll make sure that the server is up and running. So I'll type in python 3 manage.py run server, hit enter, and now let me just open up the web browser. So now as you can see, if I actually open up the web browser, I do get all the links from Google over here. So as you can see, these are the specific links which are actually present on the Google's homepage. So now let's do one thing. Let's actually try to tweak this a little bit. So let's go ahead and let's change this thing to, let's say, facebook.com, and let's see if we get a different set of links now. So now if I go ahead and hit refresh, as you can see, now we got all the links which were actually present on Facebook's homepage. So that's all fine and good. We are actually getting these links here, but what we want to do is that we want to make an app where instead of actually hard coding this google.com or facebook.com over here, we actually want to ask the user to submit their own links so that we can actually scrape that particular web page for other links. So we are going to go ahead and do that in the upcoming lectures. So in the upcoming lecture, what we will do is that first of all, we will go ahead and try to save all these links inside our model. So we'll create a model. So we will save these particular links inside our model, and then after saving them in the model, we will actually go ahead and display them up over here. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.